Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello.
Sean Bell.
Yo.
And James Farley.
Hello.
I'd like to start by thanking everyone for what has been an amazing week for Matt Murray.
Number one.
The
Numero uno.
has been pretty special, actually. We've had some excellent feedback and some great iTunes reviews and stuff. And Matt has not stopped sending us screenshots of the iTunes charts in various forms. We've had iOS, we've had on iTunes on his Mac, and we've had Apple TV, Matt. So thanks for that, keeping us up to date on.
I don't think there's any more left out.
How we're still number one.
You haven't sent us a screen grab from your watch.
I tried.
He did send me his heartbeat. He sent me his heartbeat to show he was excited. You know,
There's so many of those, James.
Have you sent one of those, like, you know, you can draw like hearts and stuff and send them to people? Have you done that?
I've sent loads of them.
Yeah, we've done that. Yeah.
All the time. Right, okay, because there was one review that I wanted to read out. It says, really lovely listen. Nice to find such a good rapport between the guys. Makes for an enjoyable listen. More, please. Which is a really lovely...
That's beautiful, actually.
That's from
really
Jill
nice.
Street.
Thank you.
That's from Jill Street. Now,
what's the...
correct me if I'm wrong, but Jill... Your wife's name is Jill, right, Matt?
No, Gillian.
And,
she goes by Gillian.
She goes by Gillian.
Name?
She would never call herself Jill.
What interests me about this review is that, that is your wife's name, and I don't think she would actually write that. So, I mean, you know, call me Sherlock Holmes. I think you might have written a review for your own podcast.
I absolutely did not write that review. I would not have written rapport for kickoff.
Why not?
What was the last line in the review?
I've got to go bring it up again now. More, please.
Yeah, do you not think I would have written like more of the same, please?
No, because you were trying to get away with it. You were trying to sneak under.
No, I said to Jill, I had to retrieve her password for iTunes. I was like, here's your password, log in, give me. I mean, you can write a review if you want, you know. And she went away and wrote her reviews, and I came back next morning and read them. It's lovely, you know. She loves the show, big fan. She's listened to all of it.
How ethical is that, Sean? You're more down with the kids than we are. What is that ethical? Reviewing your own podcast?
I mean, if you can't ask your friends and family,
I mean, it's not really a case of ethics because there's absolutely there's no benefit to doing it. It's just a bit weird.
It was a lovely review, Sean, and you know, more the merrier.
Well, thanks, Matt. Thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying the show.
Well, it was a beautiful rapport between you guys.
We've also launched the Twitch feed. Is it Twitch feed? What's
Twitch channel.
Twitch channel. Twitch.tv/the Computer Game Show, which we've been streaming from, haven't we, Matt?
We have. We're giving it a bit of a go. We're going to be YouTubers.
So we had.
We're going to be mad YouTubers. We're going to make YouTube money
on Twitch.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's where it starts.
So we tried it out with Rocket League on Friday night, I think it was, and that went really well. It was really good fun. Saturday we tried with Rainbow Six. That didn't really work. No. Mainly because it was just an hour of James moaning.
It was not. That's not true.
Nah, it was pretty true. And then we put up what we're planning to do is to interview people from within the industry, via Rocket League and put that up
through the medium of Rocket League.
It was an interesting experience because halfway through a sentence or a question I was shouting, "Oh, fuck off," when the other team scored. But that's on YouTube now, so find us on YouTube, just search The Computer Game Show and subscribe and all that stuff. But we thought, well, how can we kick off the Twitch channel in a big way? And I got an email from Matt in the week last week saying, look, Sean writes about games and he's got a few contacts. You and James write for Spong, so you're covered gaming wise. I've got nothing, David. I've got nothing. How do I join the gravy train, the free game, Gravy Train. Is that the right phrase? It's Gravy Train.
Yeah, sounds right enough.
Yeah, let's just go.
At least you didn't say Gravy Boat.
Yeah. And I said, well, you need to write reviews, Matt. And he went, no, I'm not doing that. So I just want
I'm not
free
going to write
games.
actual reviews.
So I said, look, I'll send you stuff. And I said, how about I challenge you? You got to stream it all, but I'm going to send you Uncharted. Because you've not played any Uncharted game, have you?
No. I played a demo for the first one. Then that was it.
So I've got the Nathan Drake collection. I'm sending you that. It's in the post now. And you have got until the launch of Uncharted 4 to complete the first 3 games.
Hang on, that's May 10th, isn't it?
May 10th. And
That's insane. You're never going to do that.
I mean,
no, because they're not.
As we record
that
this,
long, are they?
I think they're about 10, 12 hours each. I don't know.
Be all right.
But to make matters worse, we're away next week. We're going to Butlins next week, haven't we, Matt?
We're having a little family holiday.
So I don't know. I don't think you're going to do it. I think you're going to regret it halfway through 2. That's my.
2's good. 2 will be all right. That'll be the best bit. 2 will be an
absolute highlight. But knowing that
highlight.
You've got all the way there and you've still got a game and a half to complete, I think it's going to break him a little bit.
Oh, right. Okay. So on the night of recording, it's the 11th of April. I've got just under a month to do it. Like about 30. Say 35, say 30 to 40 hours in a month.
Mm.
Yeah, actually, that is a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a lot. And
I mean, I'll have to book some time off work.
So if you follow us on Twitter, Computer Game Pod, we'll be tweeting out when Matt's streaming, and you can go and watch him try and complete 3 games before. This is going to piss all our friends off because they're dying for you to catch up on the Division.
Yeah, well.
Imagine what 30 to 40 hours of the Division could do for you. Do you know what I mean? And there you are with old Drakey and his ways, his comments, his little jokes.
It's gonna be the only official lead up to Uncharted 4. So I'm actually playing the first stream tomorrow, which is it could be today by the time you're listening to this, but it's gonna be April 12th, Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. That's when this bad boy kicks off, providing it arrives in the post.
Yeah, you know what we're all out like. James knows, he watches enough Postman Pat. Right, was there anything else happen this week that you want to talk about, chaps?
Just the Zelda rumours. I'd like to talk about that.
I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, I haven't heard any Zelda
what is
rumours.
this?
Well, there's a bunch of things. There was like 3 main things, I think, that were come out of it, which was one that apparently it's going to have voice acting. Like throughout the whole thing,
right?
But not with Link. Like apparently he won't speak.
Okay.
He'll be voiced as usual. Also, there's the whole thing where you're going to be able to choose the sex of the character, so Link can be the male or female.
Is that, so? That's just a rumor at this point.
Yeah, I mean, but it kind of makes sense because if they've already set that up with Linkle, like from Hyrule Legends, that kind of makes sense that they might do that. It kind of
makes sense because you've got a voiceless character anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
He's never been defined as being a man throughout.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like Link's always been kind of sort of sexless anyway, isn't he? So it doesn't really matter. I mean, the thing with the voice acting though, I don't know about that because they said that they wanted to have like a more sort of complicated overworld, and I don't know how that's really going to work.
Well, wouldn't it be brilliant if it was voiced by the guy that did the Zelda cartoons? Like if it's just all of a sudden it come out like that, it's just like in the trailer, it just ends with like Link looking at the screen and going, "Well, excuse me, princess," and like everyone would just lose their shit.
Thing is, you can go a level deeper. Have you ever seen the cutscenes from? I think it was like it was either 3DO or the CDI. They had a shit Zelda game.
Yeah,
CDI,
the one with Gamelon and that kind of stuff.
Yes, I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos.
Nintendo should have totally done that for April Fool's Day. Like, just released a Zelda trailer with him speaking like that at the end.
Radical.
I'm gonna go kick Ganondorf's ass or butt, whatever. It's just like watch the internet meltdown. That would have been wonderful. Right, so you might be able to choose your gender. What
you got that? You got maybe the characters will all speak, but then the thing about that I'm wondering is that how many Japanese games have there been with massive overworlds and full voice acting? Because I can't really think of that many. Where they've actually done that. I'm
trying to think. Sean would know better than I would, because I was going to say Dark Souls then, but then
yeah,
he doesn't
there's
speak.
nothing
The main
in that.
character doesn't
There's
speak.
hardly any.
Yeah,
not a lot of actual talking. I mean, I've always enjoyed what the more recent Zelda games do, where basically every character, the dialogue isn't spoken, but there'll just be a thing of them going "hoi" or whatever when you talk to them. And it's I know what their voice sounds like, and that's fine.
Because I think if they, because that's kind of got like a charm to it, which I think would be lost if they started voicing stuff. Because I don't know, I just think it'd probably sound. I mean, what does Tingle sound like? Can you imagine that? What's he going to sound like? If he's got full sentences.
See, actually, because there's no way of fully voicing Tingle without it just coming across really homophobic.
Well, give it a go, James. Give it a go. You're the actor.
Do you know
We're
what
auditioning you. Come on.
Do you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But so that's those two things which are possible. But then also there's this whole thing, the continuing thing about whether it's going to be on like Wii U NX, that kind of thing. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd rather it wasn't on the Wii U. I'd rather they just kept it for the NX and just put everything into it and make it as best as it can be.
They can't do that.
Be a shame, but it would make life easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Lots of people are going to would complain. Oh, I bought an NX for the Zelda game, and no, it's not coming out for it. And they've said too many times that it's coming to Wii U for it to change now.
Yeah,
but I know what you're saying.
They did this with Twilight Princess, didn't they? That was a cross-generation.
I do wonder what Grand Theft Auto 5 would have been like if it was solely designed for next gen. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks incredible, but could you imagine if it, because it was essentially ported from last gen to this gen. Imagine if they just chucked everything into this gen, what that game would have looked like. I've blown out flipping minds. Have you seen the mods for that game?
Yeah, it looks the ultra realistic mods and the 4K mods on the PC do look ridiculous.
The mods for GTA 4 are stunning enough.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few of those as well, and they look pretty special.
It just gets me excited for Red Dead 2 or whatever the next game is going to be, which I would anticipate is Red Dead 2.
Right, okay. Should we talk about what we've been playing then?
Yeah,
because I want to start off this week with a little game that we've all been looking forward to, called Dark Souls 3. Sean.
Right. This is upsetting to me because my copy unlocks in 50 minutes and we're still going to be doing this. And then I'll have to go to bed.
What is it, 11 o'clock it kicks off?
Apparently, yeah.
And what format have you got it on?
Well, here's the thing. Pre-ordered it on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And then read the reviews that say there's some frame rate issues later on. And to be honest, it was a coin toss between that and the PC version anyway. So I've cancelled that and I've got the PC version instead.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah,
good story, that, isn't it?
I mean, I saw it was fantastic. You should make a movie. Yeah, there was a little bit of frame rate issues right at the start as well, I found, but nothing too bad. I mean, nothing as bad as the original Dark Souls. So I'm more than happy to continue with it. But it's really, really good. It's really good.
Is it dead hard?
People saying, "Oh, it's so easy. Like this one's really easy." It's not. I mean, some of the bosses are, but they are easier than some of the bosses that I've played in previous Souls games. But they still hit hard. Like the first boss still took a few attempts to take down, and a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, I've done it first go." Like, well, you fuck off then. Sorry, James.
Yeah. Is that just because people are just really used to Souls games now, though? And it's like they know really what they're doing,
I think that's part of it.
It seems like easy.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I mean, the people that are going to be buying this and shooting through it straight away will be the people that have played Souls games before. I think if you're coming to it fresh, then yeah, you will find it exceptionally hard straight away. But I don't know. I don't care, to be honest with you, because that's not really what I love these games about. This is not the reason why I enjoy playing Souls games. It's more about the exploration and that feeling of not knowing where to go or what to do, and then slowly realizing where to go and what to do. During the day, thinking, hold on, I remember there was a little turning that I didn't take earlier in that area. Because the other thing I've heard a lot is that this is very linear, and I would say that it completely drops that after the first boss. all of a sudden it completely opens up. Like the first main area is just all over the place. And it's really exciting to look around, and, you know, you take the wrong turn and it's really dangerous. People have been saying like it's sort of like a best of, and I can kind of see that. It feels like, did you ever see Death Proof?
No, but I'm aware of it.
Right, so Death Proof was a Tarantino film that basically was full of references to his old films. Like, it was absolutely rammed with them. It feels like that, so it doesn't feel forced. There's one character that I've met in it that I'm really disappointed to see, that I don't want to spoil, but that's the only time I've actually been a bit disappointed. The rest of it is like, holy shit, yeah. Oh crap, yeah. And it was like watching Death Proof. It was because I'm a huge Tarantino fan, and seeing characters that you've seen in previous films in a different setting, but it was kind of self-referential without feeling too in your face. That's what this feels like. There are areas that you're like, okay, this is the Bloodborne area. This feels like the depths. This feels like that. You know what I mean? It really does play off itself quite well. And I think I've come to the realization now. I loved Bloodborne. I really, really loved it. But for me, that game was just too tense. I mean, playing a Souls game is a tense experience anyway. You know, you're constantly worrying about what's ahead of you. When you add the horror to that, because there was a lot of jump scares in Bloodborne, not sort of triggered jump scares. There were a few, like, where, you know, they cleverly placed enemies round the corner and stuff like that. But just the horror of it all just really got me down a little bit too much, and that just added to the tension. Plus the fact that you didn't have a shield to hold up, you know, sort of a comfort blanket, that made it even worse for me, and it just got to me too much. This is still got the tension there, obviously, because you don't know where you're going, you're worried about what enemy you're going to meet next, but it still feels like you've got one hand of, you know, you're gripping with one hand on the game, and not that the game is completely, absolutely smashing you for no reason. I hear that changes later on, and the difficulty ramps up, but I'm not to that point yet, I don't think. I mean, I've died a lot, and I've been confused about everything, but I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's hard to talk about what I love so much about it without spoiling things, so I'm going to avoid that completely. It's way too early to be talking about that stuff. All I can say is that it's really taken me back to the first time I was playing Dark Souls, and not the very first time where I was getting frustrated with it, but when it started to click with me, and I was thinking, oh yeah, shit, this is incredible. And for a game to do that after, like, I mean, this is my third Souls game. And for it to give me that feeling again is really quite incredible. Yeah, it looks amazing in places as well. I mean, there are it goes a bit Tomb Raider every now and then, where you walk out onto a cliff edge, onto, like, obviously a cleverly placed scenic view. That, you know, it does all that stuff, but it looks so good that, you know, you just forget the fact that it's kind of forcing these little viewpoints on you. But yeah, man, it's really good.
Did you play Dark Souls 2 at all?
No,
I didn't
touch it.
Okay.
I didn't touch it. It was kind of, because when Dark Souls 2 come out, I was playing Dark Souls 1, and by the time I finished Dark Souls 1, I really wasn't in the mood for another Souls game. And then Bloodborne come out, and I got stuck into that. And by the time I was done with that, I wanted a break again. And yeah, now we're at Dark Souls 3. There wasn't a point in between those games where I thought, I want another Souls game right now. Because you didn't play 2 either, did you, James? And you were itching for some more.
See, I've got it, and because it was very kindly sent to me, but I haven't actually played it yet. But you see, I really want to play the third one, but I did kind of want to play the second one before I did. But, you know, does that matter?
I don't know. I mean, everything I've seen links back to Dark Souls, like the first Dark Souls. So, without playing Dark Souls 2, there might be shit that I'm missing. Like, that's not clicking with me. But I don't know. It's weird.
Apparently, some stuff in 3 does tie into 2.
You'd expect it to, because there are moments where it ties into. I'm not even going to say anything.
I wanted to ask about what the quality of the lore is like. I didn't play much of the first one, but everyone seemed to love the fact there's a lot of mystery about the lore, and you could have your own idea about what the story was saying, or what it was or wasn't saying, what the sculptures were saying, etc. Does it still do that?
It's way too early.
If you'd have listened to Dark Calls, you'd have known it's insane.
I did.
The lore with us.
The thing is, Matt, awesome. At this point, it is just far too early to tell. I mean, how long did it take for all the lore stuff to come out about the first Dark Souls?
Years,
Sean. Yeah, like it takes years of piecing things together, and I mean, because people know how deep this stuff goes now, I think it will come out sooner. In fact, actually, I've heard that there are websites that completely explain everything already, but I've not been looking at that stuff yet. I want to get further into it before I start researching the lore and stuff behind it. But as I'm playing, I am seeing things that I'm thinking, there's a meaning behind that. How to explain? There was, in the opening intro, there's a creature that you see at some point, right? Or several creatures that you see at one point, and they're quite memorable to look at. While I was playing through probably the second or third area, I just managed to find my way around the back of a building that I don't think that, is kind of hidden away. I was looking for an item, and then I looked out and saw loads of these creatures like on the floor, and I was kind of like, although I did not know what that meant, there's definitely a reason for that, and it's definitely one of those moments where people, like, later on, once they know the story, are going to go, but if you look behind here, you can see this, and that means that, and then and that's how it all comes together. So yeah, I think it's all in there. It's just how quickly people are going to work it all out. What have you heard? Have you heard much about that stuff yet, Sean?
Well, I mean, a lot of people have been sulking because a lot of the YouTubers have got into this stuff already.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember if we touched on this last time. But like a lot of the marketing for Dark Souls 3 has been a bit weird, and it sort of smacks of basically a marketing company being like, right, what do people like about Dark Souls? They like the fact that it's hard, and they like this lore stuff. So let's give them that. And and obviously everyone's a bit like, no, it's look at that for myself first.
Yeah.
I'm personally not too precious about it because, I mean, I had to basically finish Dark Souls, understand none of it, and then watch videos on YouTube about it to actually understand what had been going on and the things I should have pieced together if I was intelligent. So, but yeah, as far as from what I can tell, there's tons of callbacks and stuff to previous games, and apparently it's interesting the way that some things are directly lifted from the previous games, whereas some things are obviously just sort of allude to things from the previous games, which is a bit weird. But then apparently there are instances where it's I see why they have done this area again, because it was worth revisiting, and they've done it justice because they've got a much larger budget this time around.
Oh, right. Interesting. Well, this is what annoys me. There's I was watching the video review that Video Gamer put out, and I was watching it, and it was fine, watching a bit of gameplay and stuff, and then all of a sudden they were in this location, and I just went, oh, for fuck's sake. That would have been an amazing moment had I just seen that. But yeah, completely ruined by and I mean, they apologised and everything. Whoever was putting the footage together didn't know about Dark Souls lore, didn't realise how important this specific area is.
Which video was that? I've seen the one where it's Burns and Alice just
That's
sort of talking about. Is that the one? Yeah. Actually, I was paying no attention to what was going on in the background.
Oh,
I was just sort of listening to it. So whatever that was, I've just blissfully been like, whatever.
It's right at the end of that video. There's a 5. There's about 20 seconds of them running around a certain area, and I just thought, for fuck. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, they got punished for that by the internet people. The internet people turned up in their droves once that was put out there. So yeah.
Speaking of the marketing, is it true that there's marketing on Dark Souls related to Yorkshire tea?
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
That was literally, and that wasn't even anyone from Bandai Namco. That was literally someone from Yorkshire Tea who really likes Dark Souls, apparently.
If that's true, then brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great. That's what
It seems such a random connection, though.
Yeah, but apparently, like the Yorkshire Tea Twitter account has just been like tweeting at people about Dark Souls and stuff, and it's just weird because obviously that has worked to an extent. Like it's certainly like we've all heard about it, and none of us give a fuck about Yorkshire Tea, I presume. But yeah, but like, how has he justified that? Maybe it's just like maybe whoever runs the social side of Yorkshire Tea, like no one even checks up on what they're doing. It's sort of get on with it.
Sorry, Tim, this is just not in line with our brand values, but it's really no. You're right, it doesn't. But fuck it, it's Dark Souls. I'm doing it.
There was a huge uproar with the clothing announcement, wasn't there? Do you know what?
What's the beef there?
I put a snarky
shit.
I mean, yeah,
the beef is it's shit.
The design is really, there's some of the phrases on it was just kind of like, oh god, that's really cringy. But right, my point was, if something, when like someone says, oh yeah, no, I love this game, I've spent hundreds of hours on it, so they've released these digital T-shirts for my character, I'm happy to give them a couple of quid for that. You know what I mean? Like, they're all up for that. Or what annoyed me the most, because I did put a snarky tweet out, was when they announced online passes for the first time, everyone was going, oh no, if it means that the company that made the game that I love is getting some of my money, then I'm all for this, I'm behind this. They announced a T-shirt, they wanted to burn them down. They wanted to burn the studio down.
Well, I mean, I think there's a number of things at play here. One, the T-shirt's shit. Two, they did sort of like really push, like the day before they were like, fucking hell, guys, there's going to be a big announcement tomorrow about Dark Souls, and everyone was like, fucking hell, they're going to do the remake of Dark Souls and they're going to release it on the new formats. Nah, shit T-shirt.
That's coming next year, I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah,
that'll be, there's the whole Dark Souls yearly update that people are talking about. There seems to be a game a year at the moment. I've got a feeling next year we're going to see a remastered version of the first one.
It wouldn't surprise me.
David's prediction, Matt. Chalk that one down.
Writing it down as we speak.
Don't you chalk things up, not down?
I can do both.
You write it down and chalk it up, don't you? Yeah, I think you're right. Because
I chalk it down and write it up.
The paper is down, but a chalkboard is up. Is that right? Is that what it's come from?
I'll just write an email.
Just chalk it, mate. Chalk it in whatever direction you see fit. Chalk the shit out of it.
So Dark Souls 3 sounds great, yeah.
Yeah, it does. Sean, what have you been playing?
I've been playing more Trackmania. I'm just going to briefly talk about this because me and Dave have been having this ongoing, not so friendly competition.
It's getting vicious.
Where basically each week one of us makes a track and then challenges the other person on it. Now, I will freely admit that my first track that I made was awful.
It was bad.
Dave's is worse.
In what way is it worse?
Sean, why was your track bad exactly? Was it tough? Was it?
It's just fucking right angles, Dave. There's no.
Okay, let me get there. But first of all, Matt asked a question.
I want to hear about Sean's track first.
Sean's track.
Why was it so bad?
It was.
Okay, go on.
Right. Okay. There was at one point you split off in either direction, left or right. If you go left, you just wipe out completely. Like you hit some hill and it just flips you out.
It's the Dark Souls, the racing games.
Yeah. There's also, when you go into the tunnel, not Sean's fault, I'll say this, but when you go into the tunnel, it just goes pitch black at one point, and you're just like, what the fuck am I doing? But the main problem with Sean's track was there's a moment where you go off into a forest, you're not quite sure where you've got to go, but that's fine because you eventually learn the direction you're supposed to go. But then there's a tiny road in the middle of hundreds of trees that you have to kind of, it's like, imagine running 100-meter race and then stopping and having to look where to go next. That was essentially it.
At least it was a gimmick. I mean, it's a shit gimmick, but there was something there. Yours is
mine's
okay, Sean. And now the critique on Dave's track.
Yeah,
it's just right angles. It's just turn 90 degrees left, turn 90 degrees right, turn 90 degrees left, then right, then left. Fucking.
So what else? It's a fucking racetrack. Sean, what racetracks do you know? What else do you want? There's bumps in it. You got some bumps in there.
It's got some bumps. Give you that. It's got some bumps. It does have a magnetic bit.
It does. That's good.
I'm into those magnetic bits.
You go upside down. To be fair,
have you made these bad on purpose?
No.
Is this like?
No, this is just us not really. It's interesting. Like, I want to keep doing this just to see if we do like improve and we actually develop a sense of like what is enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like with Mario Maker, people were just making any old shit, and then it was like, and then if you watch like, I don't know if you watch Game Maker's Toolkit.
I've watched a couple of those, yeah.
By Mark Brown. He does a really good one about Mario Maker, where he just like looks at a couple of Mario levels and he's like, look, this is why Mario levels are good, because there'll be like one sort of mechanic and then it sort of iterates on it and gets a bit more complex each time, and that's why it's satisfying and fun. So, like, I want to get there, but with Trackmania.
Yeah, same here. I think there's two skills that I want to improve: actually driving and creating tracks. I think that's they're my goals. But in my defense of my track, right, I didn't intend to pick that car to race with because it's easily the worst, I think.
You see, yeah, because I was going to say is like that track with like the stadium cars would probably work because they're all about like braking zones and control and stuff. Whereas, yeah, the ones you've picked, they're quite slidey, but the sliding's a bit shit on them, isn't it? It's like really unpredictable. It's
well twitchy, isn't it? The
like kicks out loads.
What I found out about those cars, right, because there is a knack to them, just because they're the little buggy ones, right?
Yeah.
There is a knack to them. The idea is that you can turn 90-degree angles really quickly without braking.
Okay.
But they're just a bit too twitchy for me to find them enjoyable. So I think next time I'm going to try a different. I want to do some more F1 racing because those are actually pretty fun. But I don't know. What have you topped my latest time yet?
Not yet. I'm working on it.
Right. Okay. Have you attempted since I topped you?
Yeah. I've had a go. There's one bit. Where you do like fuck it, and I
the
keep
chicane,
like,
right?
Yeah. And I'm just like, and I'm sort of not doing too well, and there's that one bit where I start pulling ahead again. I'm like, right, fuck it, like that. So that's my in. That's the bit. If I can just not fuck up the rest, then I know that bit will that'll cost you the win. But there's just a couple of corners where I just can't figure out whether it looked like on some of them it looks like to explain to everyone else, when I'm racing I can see Dave's ghost of how he's done it, and there are corners where it looks like you just fucking smash into the corners like on purpose, but it doesn't slow you down all that much. Like sometimes you just sort of get away with it.
That's not because I mean with your track there was that whole thing at the beginning where there was a boost and then a jump, and what I worked out was that if you didn't because instantly you try and brake as you land to take the corner. But if you just carry on, the car hits the outside of the corner and then it just like propels you forward.
Yeah, there is a way of doing that.
Seconds in front of you.
Yeah, there is a way of doing that well, and I can't get my head around it.
Well, you've got, how long have you got left? 2 days, I think?
A couple of days, yeah, I think.
Shit.
So that'd be interesting. But yeah, what a fucking good game.
It is good.
Are these tracks downloadable for everyone? Or are these like shareable so anyone can download them? Or
what happens is what you do is you create a challenge, and then once you've created it, you can then challenge, so you can go right, and I want like these 3 of my mates or whatever to have a go at it. But that challenge also gets published for anyone to look at.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So any listener could theoretically play these bad tracks.
Yes.
I think so,
honestly,
better time than you two.
They got to be out there somewhere.
Okay, this is good.
But as I said, if I see anyone else on that track, I will kill them. Leave us alone. What I don't need is for me to spend 5 hours to beat Sean's time by a second, and then get someone on Twitter to go, well, I did it in a minute less.
I think that's exactly what we need.
That being said, if anyone's listening and they've had a go at making their own tracks, give us a shout, because that would be quite funny to criticise listeners' tracks on the show.
Could we not do
I'd love to do that with Mario Maker, because I think that would be a laugh.
Do what on Mario Maker?
I'd love to do that with Mario Maker, just see what people are coming up with, and just critique a bit. Especially, I mean, those ones I played that you did, Dave. Some of them were quite good. You had some not bad ones.
They were all pretty brilliant, actually. I think you'll find. Do you know? We haven't spoken about this actually. Matt come down to my place not too long ago, and I was like, "Oh, play Mario Maker. Try this out." Yeah, Matt, you've not played much Mario, have you?
I haven't played 2D Mario, in forever. I just haven't.
It was mental. Like when what you're dealing with someone that's not quite with it. When you hand them the pad to play Mario and he's not pressing the run button instantly, you're just going, I forgot that this game plays at this speed unless you hold down that button. It's really odd.
Yeah, I never bought any 2D ones for my Wii. If they were even out on that, I think they probably were. I haven't got a Wii U. I just haven't played 2D Mario, and it could be Mario Land. Who knows?
How did that feel, watching people actually play Mario normally, and then you get in the pad?
It was weird. I felt like I'd fallen into a black hole. I felt like there's a massive, massive blind spot in my life. I didn't even know how to play Mario, for fuck's sake. It felt weird. It felt really weird. You guys are looking at me thinking, why can't he just jump? And I was like, what's the timing on this? How do I? It is very strange, very, very strange feeling.
I think that was the one where you have to jump on a Goomba's head right at the start or something, and you just kept leaping over him.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, okay, Matt, come on now, mate.
And so quick about Trackmania. We should do like a Trackmania live where you guys like you design the tracks and then like the other one races it.
Yeah,
that would be cool actually. Yeah.
I've streamed a couple of attempts, haven't I, Sean? It's a little bit hard because the only time I really get to play it is Sunday mornings. Because Harry gets up early and then I'll get up with him and then he looks at me and goes, "Cars!" and I've got to put Trackmania on.
I was saying this on Twitter. Like, that aside, does it not strike you as like a perfect Sunday morning game?
It's good
for some reason.
It's good for that, yeah. Because
I don't know why.
You could just kick back and play a few races, can't you? Although
maybe it's just like it's the closest thing I've come to being like, oh yeah, it's Sunday. I'll watch the sport. Because that's the thing that normal people do. But
what's the score, honey? Well, I'm 96th out of 100.
In the Northwest.
Northwest.
Right. The other thing I've played is the beta of Battleborn.
What is Battleborn, Sean?
Battleborn is the new game from Gearbox, the makers of the popular Borderlands series of computer games.
Oh, really?
It is right. I'm gonna describe to you. This is how Randy Pitchford, who's the big man, that's his proper title at Gearbox.
Yeah,
describes it.
Aliens versus...
He says Battleborn is FPS, hobby grade co-op campaign, genre blended, multi-mode competitive esports, meta growth, choice and epic Battleborn heroes.
Sounds like a wacky dude.
So the thing is, right, I was playing it. So you got your two main modes. You've got your online competitive stuff, which is a bit like a MOBA. Are we all do I need to explain MOBAs, or are we all right?
No, I think we're there with that.
Fine. And no, just 'cause I know you're all primarily like console guys.
Anti-nerds, yeah.
Cool kids. And then you've got like this sort of co-op story stuff. So I had to go on the competitive MOBA thing first. It's fine. Like, it's really confusing and stuff's going on constantly and you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing. But I'm willing to just put that down to me being shit. Maybe there's stuff to learn there and it gets quite involving and good and stuff. However, comparing it to what I've seen of Overwatch, which is practically identical, but it's by Blizzard, which looks just fucking lightning quick and loads of fun, this just seems like really turgid in comparison. It's very slow. It bothered me because a lot of people were shitting on this before the beta even came out because for some reason it seems to be cool to not like Borderlands anymore. I don't know when that happened.
Do you think that's mainly also because of Colonial Marines and stuff like that?
Possibly, yeah. I think
they worked on that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, they did and they didn't. The reason they get stick for it is because they basically they took the money to make it and then just outsourced it.
Oh, right.
So it
also
doesn't
Nukem.
harm their reputation as developers, but it does as business people.
Also, as Matt just said, Duke Nukem.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, the damage was pretty much done with that one. Wasn't
it? But yeah, I really enjoyed Borderlands 1. Borderlands 2 was an improvement in pretty much every possible way. I never played the pre-sequel. Apparently, that's pretty good as well. But yeah, I don't know. Everyone's like been like, oh yeah, Battleborn's gonna have like shit jokes in it, because like Borderlands did. I thought Borderlands 2 was really funny, but this is full of shit jokes. Like there's this one boss that is a giant robot spider, and the joke is that it's called Jeth, and they think that's hilarious. And then he keeps like saying like, woo, I'm the spider and I'm gonna get you, and stuff like that. And it's like it's meant to be funny, and it's just like, you fucking shut up. And it just like the MOBA stuff in and of itself, I can sort of deal with that. And then you look at the way the campaign stuff is, and it's like, this is just really cynical focus grouped shit. And I hate sort of, trampling on a game like this, because obviously a lot of talented people will have been involved in its development, and I'm sorry, but it just feels really cynical and like, oh, well, what do people like? Well, MOBAs are big and esports are big and Destiny's big. So let's just combine all those and put loot in. And that'll do all right, won't it? I don't think it will do that well, because I think Overwatch is going to crush it. I don't think anyone's...
I think it sounds great, Sean.
Is this coming to consoles?
It does have multi-mode competitive esports, meta growth choice, and epic Battleborn heroes.
Well, I'm there day one.
Sean, is this coming to consoles? Or is it PC only?
Yeah, it is. It's consoles, but then so's Overwatch, and so's what's that? The one that Epic are doing as well. I can't remember what it's called now.
Lawbreakers? No, that's Killer Bleed's one.
This feels like the first wave of games that I probably feel too old for now. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. It just feels like the MMO rush after World of Warcraft happened, and everyone wanted their own MMO, and half of them just went straight in the bin because you can't, because of the way these games are. Like you have to play them pretty intensively to really get a lot out of them.
Yeah.
So there's no way, people aren't going to spread themselves around. They're just going to pick one, and they're going to pick Overwatch.
When's the beta finish?
It runs till the 18th, I think.
Okay, cool. I might give it a go.
Yeah, do.
Yeah,
briefly.
I mean, when you were saying about the 60 frames per second, you really notice that in Dark Souls 3. That is a game that benefits from it. I mean, it's not locked, obviously, but when that does hit the 60 frames, man, it is nice. That is a game that benefits from that. Although I've been playing, the majority of the time, on that remote play thing on my Mac.
Oh, yeah.
Which launched this week.
That's yet another reason I wish I bought a PS4.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I must admit, I didn't have to watch The Voice on Saturday night, so that was worth the money that I laid out for a PS4 in the first place, to be honest with you. There's a slight delay there, and there's some audio glitches and some visual glitches, but it's nothing too bad. I managed to defeat a boss with it, so
fair dues.
It can't be that bad.
I'd assumed in terms of latency, it'd basically be the same as when you stream to a Vita, which I find not brilliant.
It depends how far. I mean, I was right next to my router, so I was in the same room as my router, so it was essentially fine. Obviously, you lose some of the resolution. I think it knocks it down to 5, whatever that is.
Jesus.
The one that, something like that. But it's perfectly viewable, perfectly playable, and it beats watching The Voice. So, no complaints from me. I'm happy that they've done that. It saved me a lot. But it does make you think, actually, the tech that's in that Wii U pad is really special. Because if my, laptop can't handle high definition streaming and all that sort of stuff, yet this fucking gamepad can. Maybe that needs to be praised a little bit more. What Nintendo
It's the main thing. It's the main thing that I really hope that the next machine also has, because as I said, like with the kids and everything, it's been amazing to have that.
It's a lifesaver. I mean, even when I'm gaming on the big TV, I'm looking at the gamepad because I know that at any moment Harry's just going to run up and stand an inch from the screen just before it happens. Fucking annoying, man. Oh, get this, Sean. I was playing. I was against the latest boss that I've done in Dark Souls 3. I was playing that on my PS4. My Xbox One was on, right? And it suddenly decided, oh, you've not used the Xbox One for a while. I'll turn myself off, which also turns my telly off. So I was mid-battle with a boss, and I was just looking for the remote to turn it back on. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Amazing.
Yeah, nightmare.
Good.
You went to Rezzed as well this week, didn't you?
Yes, I was just going to briefly talk about that. Rezzed is a really interesting thing, and I would recommend it to pretty much everyone.
So it's Eurogamer's sort of indie. It started off as their indie... thing, didn't it?
And it used to be in Brighton, I believe. And now because they've sort of, they moved EGX up to Birmingham, so Rezzed has sort of moved over to London. But it's in this venue called Tobacco Dock, which I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with it.
I think I've been there.
It's so strange, and it's fucking lovely. It's almost like a really posh shopping centre, but with no shops, just all the bits where the shops would be is just got nerds with computers with weird indie games on them. And it's like there's sort of like this like little sort of courtyard areas that are sort of outdoors. So basically, it's like any other games event except there's fresh air and sunlight.
Nice.
And there's
was Prison Architect there?
Prison Architect was there.
Unbelievable.
Amazingly. But yeah, and there's there's stalls selling overpriced but admittedly very nice pies, and like decent food, and it's such a nice atmosphere. It's really quite unlike anything else. It's the one like games thing that I would happily take my wife to, and not feel ashamed. It's
wow.
Yeah, it's just proper nice. I mean, it didn't help. I was only there for one day because I had to come back up north for a wedding. But the weather was actually shit on the day that I went, so it was quite cold and raining. But obviously that's the gamble of having like a semi-outdoor venue, I guess.
all that rainwater getting into the PCs and
it's a bit annoying.
Exploding.
There goes my code again.
The monitors having little windscreen wipers attached to them. Like, was PS Vita was there, right?
What was sorry?
Not PS Vita, PS VR.
It was, and I failed to get an appointment to have a go on it.
Yeah, because I heard it went really quick.
Yeah, because you had to book an appointment on the website before you could, before even turning up to the show, and they went pretty much instantly. I know a couple of people who had to go. Apparently, Riggs is really good fun, and I want that because big robots. So, I played a game called Knife to See You, which is really interesting. It's by the guy who made. I don't know if you saw last year, everyone was bigging up this game where it all took place on like one line. That was just like a string of LEDs that was like put up against a wall or whatever, and you moved this like dot on the line around, and it was like a one-dimensional Dark Souls. It was really good fun. The same guys made this game called Knife to See You, where basically it's this little wooden box, and on top of it is like there's like 3 buttons. And you've got so it's 3 players, and each player has a button, and you've got to hold your button for as long as possible, while a knife is swinging back and forth at your fingers. Right?
Oh, jeez! What a life knife!
It's a real life. I mean, it's not sharp, obviously, but like when it does hit you, it's enough that you go like fucking hell and like pull your hand away. But yeah, it's sort of like first it's quite just sort of swings back and forth quite uniformly. So you learn the timing of it, and you just like let your finger up when it comes by, and that's fine. But then it's there's like different levels, and as it gets harder by sort of like fucking up the pattern basically, and then like it'll move one way and then move back, and then it'll just stop for ages and then carry on moving, and yeah, that was really good fun. Also, Reigns, as in REIGNS. Which is a mobile game that'll be out in a couple of months. It's actually Devolver are putting it out. It's really smart. It's basically ruling a kingdom through Tinder. Basically, you like it's just a game where you're a king, and it's just a mobile game. So you're a king, and then basically just one by one, people just come up and they'll be like, right, I want this, or you need to do this, or whatever. Like there'll be like a request from like a peasant or your queen or the pope or whatever, and it's just swipe left to say no, swipe right to say yes, or the other way around, whatever. And it's all like just making all these like little sort of quick decisions about how your kingdom gets run, and then like there's little story events and like stats that you have to watch out for and stuff, and it looks really good fun.
That sounds brilliant.
Yeah,
that sounds really
such
cool.
a smart idea. My favourite thing about Rezzed, I tweeted about this morning and started quite a heated discussion, was finding out how everyone pronounces the name of HTC's virtual reality headset.
Go on.
I can't believe this was even in question, Sean. This is going to be good.
So how do you pronounce it, Sean?
No, Helms. No, first of all, how do you spell it?
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, so it's spelled Vive, right?
Yeah.
Which I had assumed. Yeah, but Vive isn't a word.
So what is?
So I assumed it was Vive, as in like Vive la Revolution or whatever. Like
Jesus.
that's a word that I recognise, whereas Vive isn't. Now this has been cleared up.
I bet it has.
No,
by someone going, no, Sean, you're a fucking idiot.
I am wrong. Daniel Nyberg. Yeah, but you don't know why, do you?
Go on.
Why am I? Go on.
Well, no, all I'm saying is that, I mean, replace the V, the first V, with an F, and what do you get?
You get 5, but that's not. Yeah, but English is fucking bollocks, Dave.
Five's not a real word, Dave.
You could do that with loads of words, and you'd be like, well, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Anyway, Daniel Nyberg at Binary Legend on Twitter, basically, he mentioned it used to be called the Revive, and then for some reason they just took the Re off, so that is why it's Vive.
Well,
also just looking at the letters and thinking, what sound would that make?
Well, Vive isn't a word, but Vive is in other languages, so it must be Vive.
But maybe he said, maybe what he was actually saying is that it used to be called the Revive, and take away the Re, what you got? Sean, you're bang on.
Well, apparently some people say Vive, so, it could be worse.
Hell, who does that? What are your mates? Your weirdo mates.
I don't know.
Did you have a go of the Vive or what?
I didn't know. Did not have it. I had to go on the Vive. No, I didn't have a go on anything. Finally, that tweet got retweeted by bloody Rami from Boss Names. What are they called? Game developers. Flambeer. So that went nuts. So my Twitter mentions are a mess today.
So just have everyone saying, "Are you an idiot? Are you an idiot? Are you an idiot?
Are you fucking stupid? Why would anyone?"
Could you imagine if you'd have made it to the front of the queue and said, "Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to using the Vive," and then like everyone in the queue just like pissing themselves, and then you look down.
Sir, could you step aside, please? You're not allowed on the Vive.
I need to like get the logo and edit just a little grave accent on the E. Just like
Vive. Yeah, go on.
That's it. That's the end of that bit.
You've tried it, haven't you? You've tried the old Vive, Matt.
I've been on the Vive, yeah. I had a go. I went to PC World. They've got 3 demos across the UK. One in Leeds, one in Reading, and one in Tottenham Court Road in London. You can go, and there's like at least the one in Leeds. There's like basically a big demo area in PC World where you can go and queue up and try HTC Donde Vives for like 10 to 15 minutes.
Is it the future of video gaming?
It is, yeah. It's the future of everything, frankly. It's amazing. It blew my dick clean off.
Well, what did you do? What were the demos?
So the 3 demos were Job Simulator, which is it's a cartoony game where you basically do a number of things. It was the demo I played is where you're in an office, and that you start in a cubicle, and in that cubicle there are lots of items on the desk. There's like a computer, a photocopier, a coffee machine, and you can use basically Vive controllers to basically pick things up in the game and throw them across the office and do all sorts of stuff. I mean, but I just want to talk about the actual setup before the demos itself. So it's got so many really really clever things about it. I put the headset on, put the headphones on, and then the guy running the demo asked me to walk forward and walk towards the wall. And basically, as you're getting towards the wall and other surfaces or things in your room, a thing that HTC are calling the chaperone system appears, which is basically a green grid. So it basically stops you walking into walls, and it doesn't bring you out of the experience too much, but it's like a really, really clever way of showing you, where a wall or something would be, without you obviously just walking into it. And even just seeing the chaperone system appear felt cool and interesting. So the chaperone system also, when I had the headset on, I was just stood there in 3D space. He'd turned the headset on, and I was basically in this giant, vast sort of white area. And then in front of me, there was 2 digital versions of the handsets, and the guy was in front of me, and he said, "Just reach out and grab them." And I grabbed them, and they were basically perfectly located in 3D space, exactly where I thought I was grabbing them. I grabbed them and I held them in my hands. I think I held obviously the physical versions in my hands. That's obviously incredibly different to my Oculus demos I've had in the past, where you have the headset on, someone would tap you on the right shoulder, hold out an Xbox pad, and you would be sort of like blindly fumbling for the pad, not knowing where it is. Whereas this, I saw the things in 3D space, and I grabbed them, and it was just that instantly was like a really fantastic moment. The fact that I just saw these controllers and grabbed them.
So Matt, when you did that, did you start just weeping gently? As you touched them, as you cradled them in your arms.
Every orifice was weeping, James. It was insane. it was amazing. Yeah. So yes, I did that. Yeah, and I had 3 demos. So Job Simulator was the first one. The demo I was in a cartoony office. With the controllers you get, there's a trigger beneath that, beneath the controller, a bit like the Wiimote, and you can basically in the game move your arms around, holding the controllers, and when you go over, say, a handle of the photocopier or a mug, you can squeeze the trigger to pick up that item. And in this demo, there was some tasks I had to do. I had to grab a cup, have a coffee, so I grab the cup, squeeze the trigger, moved over towards the coffee machine, use my finger to turn the machine on, drank the coffee, picked up some donuts. I got a water bottle and filled that with water and threw it across the room. But honestly, within 15 to 20 seconds, I felt immersed in this space. It felt like a real 3D office. I mean, so I've used Oculus DK1 and DK2 in the past, and those are, I've had a standing experience and a sitting experience, but I haven't experienced room scale VR at all before. But just having the ability to move in 3D space,
yeah,
it feels so different to anything I've done before. And that combined with the controllers, if I felt like the stuff I did before wasn't really VR, that was just a 360 viewpoint really, whereas this feels like proper VR.
The only thing I'll say is that based on what you said and my experiences with VR so far, is that for me, this sounds like more of a fairground ride than it would be something that I would have in my front room.
Yeah, this is what we talked about this, because Matt and I talked about this on Interface. Sorry to say that. It's
I'm going to charge you for that. You can't just drop adverts in.
Yeah. Sorry. Just to make it clear, James and I have another podcast. It's a technology podcast.
Let's not. We don't need to make that clear.
No, I think I do to make it clear. Anyway,
self-promotion.
On there we were talking about this, like the idea that maybe this is actually more suitable for arcades. Actually, it's like an arcade kind of experience more than it would be as like a home experience. Like you go there, you put the whole thing on.
Which is perfectly viable. I mean, that is a good. That's a. Like they've started advertising the VR roller coaster on Alton Towers this week. I've seen a few adverts for that, and that seems perfect. And whenever you go, obviously we go to a lot of these family attraction places now, and a lot of them have these 4D experiences, and I just think, well, they're gone, and they're going to be replaced with VR experiences, which to me seems perfect. Amazing technology, really interesting stuff that they can do with that. It's how, I mean, not so much with Vive and Oculus, but I know that PSV.
Pronounce it right,
VR,
David.
Sorry?
Pronounce it right.
Oh, sorry, Vive. An Oculus. Not so much with those, but I feel that PSVR aiming for, the household gaming market might not be the best way to do it. I could be, I could listen back to this in a year's time and just think, well, what I was talking bollocks, but I don't know.
Jacking off with your headset on.
It seems...
but room scale.
It seems like an experience as opposed to something that's going to be taken on, like taking over gaming.
I really don't think it's going to be like in people's homes, because I still feel it. Okay, this will sound ridiculous, but I still feel it's weird. Like the idea of like putting on a headset in your room and like just doing that. I don't know.
Do you honestly? Do you genuinely?
I do.
Yeah, even if the thing doesn't give me, like, even if it doesn't give me headaches, I think just the idea of being in my house and just putting a headset on and not really existing in the real world for like 8 hours
it does bother me. Yeah, it's a bit. I don't know.
Seclusive.
Also, I'd be worried. Like, imagine if I was doing that. If I was doing that around your house, Dave, I just imagine what you'd be doing while I was in there. Like wanker signs.
What would I be doing?
All sorts of stuff.
Yeah, who cares?
Is that I'm not so worried
about? Touching me up, mate. That'd be my concern.
Yeah. It's more just I don't know. I don't know. It feels like you're taking yourself away from. I don't know. We sound like old people.
It's almost like virtual reality.
Yeah. Which of you had tried VR out, and what VR have you guys tried out in the past?
I've literally only had a go with like an early Oculus and then bloody Google Cardboard, mate, which is the best option.
Yeah, I've got one. That's
that
awesome.
You can buy. £3, mate. No, I think what it'll come down to is like whether or not the games are designed in such a way that it's like you can do 20, 30 minutes and then take it off and then turn to someone else in the room and be like, fucking hell, have a go on this. Like it needs to...
Yeah.
It needs to be done in a way.
Experiences like that work. Yeah. There's a Keep Talking Nobody Explodes where one person has the headset on, the rest are reading from a physical book to try and sort of detonate the bomb and whatnot. And there's a couple of PSVR experiences like that as well. And I think that's going to be a big success.
Yeah, definitely.
I think those ones are going to work in the party environment.
Yeah, I think they've said, haven't they, like a lot of PSVR games, like there are games that incorporate like the stuff on the TV, which is for other people in the room.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And I think that makes it a lot less creepy.
I mean, because that takes us a step closer to proper nightmare, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Genuinely being in nightmare. That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was telling when I was at Res, they had, I think it is literally just called Giant Cop. Where have you seen this? Where basically you are like the only cop in the entire city, but also you're absolutely huge. And basically the idea is you just like walk around the city, just like kicking criminals and punching them and stuff. But like the area that they've got that you can play this in, it's like this massive like cordoned off like 10 by 10 meter area, and there's like this camera that you have to have positioned at like the top of the room that looks down on you and tracks your movement and stuff. And it's like that's not going to be in anyone's house ever.
Yeah, so I've got something to say about this whole the fact is room scale VR is great and all, but actually I don't think it's a million miles different from when people were moving their coffee tables for Kinect.
Yeah, but they didn't though, did they? Because people did that like once or twice, and then were like, "This is a massive ball ache. I can't be bothered to do this anymore." It's not like, I mean, Kinect wasn't like a massive success, was it? Like in the sense of like.
Commercially, it was. It's
a little
millions and millions and millions, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but it didn't change gaming, did it? It didn't like make people, how many Xbox One games are there that support Kinect like at the moment? That kind of stuff. People did it in the beginning for like a very short period of time, but no one bothered in the end because most people just want to sit down in front of like the couch and just play games.
But they're not bothered with doing all that. That doesn't determine whether it's a successful piece of equipment or not. I just think that this is a perfect show and tell device. This is a perfect attraction more than something that is going to take. Like I think VR will be very successful, but whether it's a household device or something that you go and experience, I think that's where I sort of don't see the vision of having everyone sitting in a front room with one of these headsets on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, you forget that, like, like Nidhogg, for example, which is now huge. I mean, obviously, there's no technical barrier to that being in everyone's home, but that was just an exhibition game. That was made as as an installation for a thing. And then you got things like 10 Year One Year Teens. I don't know if you remember.
We played that
ages ago. And that was like this. Yeah, it's a big stupid bespoke controller. There's only one of those in the world as far as I'm aware. But we're in a place where people will, if there's a game that can only be done as like an exhibit, then people are willing to pay to have that. So I guess that is a model that could be used. Like, not all, talking about, like, I'm slagging off Giant Cop because it'll never be in anyone's house. Maybe it was never intended to be in anyone's house. Maybe it is just done as an exhibition thing. And that's fine.
You're saying Giant Cops there, right?
Giant Cop, singular.
Right, just making sure. Sorry, just when you say it quickly, it sounds like something else. It genuinely does.
Well, that's just you in your mind, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it is.
See, I kind of agree with you though, because I think it's definitely not going anywhere, and it's going to be like massive, like VR. But I don't know, it just in the home, I just see it as being, maybe it's going to be more of a niche thing in the home rather than like massive mainstream adoption thing. I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not sure if it's going to be massive mainstream adoption, but my God, it's just so bloody exciting. It just feels so immersive. At least HTC Vive does. But yeah, it's brilliant.
See, because the thing that I want to do, like the main reason why I want to get a VR headset is not to sit and game. It's to go over to people's houses and say, "Fucking check this out."
Yeah,
and blow their minds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just that thing of like, right, I'm putting the headset on, and saying goodbye to my wife for the next 2 hours. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, right, I'm just not going to exist now.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's like taking 2 hours out a week to, put some headphones on and just completely ignore your other half. So it's a bit weird, isn't it?
But also, I mean, a lot of games work because there is like that layer of abstraction between you and playing the game. Like, it's not always about sort of immersion into the game world. Sometimes the fact that there is an abstraction makes it actually nicer, if you see what I mean. Yeah. Like, you're playing a game, and that's part of the fun.
Yeah, sure.
If you see what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be. I don't know. It's still an unknown. I've not played any of the newer headsets. Played with any of the newer headsets yet, and I will not get to play with one of the newer headsets for a long time. I don't think. I'm dying to try out PS VR because I think that's the only viable way for me to get into VR. Because I can't afford a decent PC. I can't afford one of those headsets. The closest I'm going to get is by getting a PSVR headset. And even then, I mean, you're looking at, what was it? Did you say 350 for the headset? Then the camera.
Yeah, then 40 quid for the camera if you haven't got it.
Yeah, then the Move controllers and everything. Yeah. You're looking at £450 all in, and I've not got that sort of money to spend on what is what I see as a niche thing at the moment.
I've pre-ordered mine. Pre-ordered all the way. Cannot wait. Yeah.
I'll have to come out to Leeds. Check it out.
We'll get one.
Right, you say that's what's interesting, right? Is you saying that it's like, oh, actually, to be fair, like the idea of going round to a mate's to have a go on it is more enticing than the idea of just buying my own.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like making an event of it and actually going round and
yes.
I don't know.
But that's the thing. I don't see it as a social environment, a social thing. So actually, that'd be more weird for me. I just see it as like, it's something. When I play games at night, when my wife's in bed, that it makes sense for me to do it then because I'm not shutting anyone out. But I wouldn't expect like to have loads of mates around and then someone gets an VR headset in front of us. If anything, that's the scenario where it feels weird to me.
Yeah. Depends on the games and depends on your mates, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I've got wankers as mates, Matt. So that if I'm coming round, it's going to be tweeted. There's going to be many a tweet with you looking like a bell end in your headset.
I mean, so I went to play this HTC Vive a few weeks ago, and there's basically a queue of like 7 or 8 people. But I was sat there for 20 minutes to see how quick the queue went, and there's a guy, jumping around the place, shooting aliens, whatever he's doing. Well, he was shooting aliens, I know, because I played a demo, but he was in there, and no one was really bothered watching this guy just run around in a headset. Looking quite stupid, but a couple of other little things. I use this with my glasses on. I've used previous Oculus headsets without my glasses, but glasses for this were fine. I've got quite fairly big glasses, so it was fine for that. So that was great. I didn't feel sick at all. So famously, I'm obviously quite into VR. I'm quite excited by the prospect, and I tried Oculus when I was with Dave at EGX a few years ago, and famously after about 15 seconds I started feeling unwell, and this was just me standing up playing it's like a first person dungeon crawler, essentially just walk around this poorly sort of coded sort of 3D environment. I felt sick almost straight away. I've actually since tried DK2 at work on this roller coaster simulator, and I felt sick for like half an hour afterwards. I felt terrible, but this, I played for 20 minutes. I was running around the room, I was looking forward, looking back, and I didn't feel sick in the slightest. So I'm really happy to report that for this one, and for me at least, it didn't make me queasy, which I was quite worried.
They seem to be sussing out what it is exactly that's making people sick and sort of addressing that.
Absolutely,
so that's a
I was
good
going to say, I'm interested to find out if this is like a universal thing, or if it's just like certain people's peculiarities of their eyes or the brain or the shape of their head. Or
we played the same demo, didn't we, Matt, at EGX, and you felt sick and I didn't. So I think tolerance is,
I think tolerance is definitely a thing. I mean, some people get travel sick just playing a first person shooter, but there's definitely an element of that. But there's also the real thing that's come out over the last 12 to 18 months of VR development in the community is that if there's a poorly coded, a poorly developed experience that doesn't take into effect things like inertia and how would someone react were this to be happening in real life, then you will feel sick. I mean, many of the really poorly put together like roller coaster simulators make you feel sick, even if you're fine on a real roller coaster or really massive roller coaster. And in his first demo, I was literally just standing holding a pad, walking around a shitty environment. But for whatever reason, that really got me. Whereas these new ones, it wasn't even I didn't even think about it for a second, and I felt fine afterwards. But so hopefully that's something that the general sort of VR community are learning to fix.
And wasn't it on Giant Bomb they were saying that they found adding a fake nose, like a digital nose,
that was the thing,
in changes a lot. That's mad.
Yeah, or also if you have like a tiny dot in the middle or crosshair, that can also help. There's like a point of focus. But HTC Vive is amazing. It blew my mind, and having a room scale VR with the controllers, it feels like this is the most complete VR solution right now. Whereas Oculus, it's just a headset and the Xbox One controller right now. Their touch controller isn't out until later in the year. So right now the Vive is the one to go for if you've got the money. And even the basic sort of mini game demos and stuff I played were totally immersive. I mean, in the job simulator one, I was chucking donuts around and I saw one on the floor, and I tried to kick the donut away, and that's how immersed I was. Within 30 seconds I was trying to kick a donut away. I couldn't affect it. So I don't have VR shoes, but
HTC, if you're listening,
it was amazing.
It was so immersed.
I can't wait to try out something else.
Amazing. Right, James, have you played anything this week?
I started playing Watch Dogs, which I know that sounds pretty mad, right? Well, no, I know it sounds really strange, but because I bought it because it was a couple of pounds, and I remember seeing because there was a lot of pre-release hype, and I was quite excited about it. But then I think I went away. I think that's when I went to China, and then it came out, so I didn't get to play it. And then I also remember there was all that nonsense about whether there was going to be Wii U version or not, and then there was eventually, but no one cared. But I don't know.
That came out.
It did, yeah. It did eventually come out. It's probably worth a lot of money now because probably nobody bought it. But I don't know. It's because this is one I've got a whole backlog of games, and I just saw this and I just thought I'd like to give it a try because I'm kind of curious. But I don't know. The city design it feels a lot like Assassin's Creed. The game really feels like a lot like Assassin's Creed, but without the sort of interesting, well, at least for me, historical setting. That's gone. But I mean, Dave? Have you played it at all?
Yeah. I played a hell of a lot of it. when it first came out, and it was a really hard game for me because I was reviewing it, and I found it really hard to review because I had no emotional reaction to it whatsoever. I didn't hate it, didn't like it. I just thought
it's nothing worse than that when you're reviewing something that's just all right.
It's an all right game. I was disappointed because of the hype that came out beforehand, but then as it was getting closer to launch, we started to realise that actually maybe that hype was a little bit unfounded, and there was warning signs before the game come out. I liked some stuff it did. I thought the hacking got a little bit tedious, but the shooting was fine. The invasion stuff was amazing.
Yeah. See, that's still going on as well, because I got invaded like a couple of times. I mean, there are still people, it seems, playing it, I kind of get what you're saying, because the main thing that I really dislike about it is it just feels really bland. Like, the whole thing feels like incredibly bland.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I mean, the whole also there's like that whole sort of like information overload from it as well. Did you get that at all?
Yeah.
Where there's just
where
far
you look
too
at your
much
map
coming
and you're
at
just
you.
like, whoa, what?
Yeah, and I mean the thing is maybe they're trying to make a point with that. Like, there's some commentary on like information overload in society in general, but it just makes the game annoying.
Yeah, that's just all Ubisoft.
Yeah, I was about to say, considering that's in every single Ubisoft game ever. I mean, if they were making it in Watch Dogs, then it was also in Far Cry Primal, where you looked at your map and you were like, "Fuck me." Oh no, we're trying to say there's a lot of information overload in the Stone Age.
It's like, I mean, you start off and there's just so much like that they're trying to teach you like immediately.
Yeah.
And like in Rockstar games, one of the things they do really well is they usually start you off somewhere and they give you some time to sort of get used to your environment. Like to sort of like spend some time to notice landmarks and stuff like that, so you sort of understand the city you're in. And they don't really do that in this. They're just kind of like, it's just this massive information of like, you feel kind of overwhelmed and don't really know what to do.
Yeah, it's in what do you call it, in the Grand Theft Auto games, you tend to have one quest giver, and most of the action is based around a small sort of area, so you start to recognise streets and buildings and stuff. You're absolutely right. But that one was just like, okay, drive to the other side of the fucking map, go. And you're like, where the fuck am I now? Yeah.
See, and I mean, the other thing that I'm going to sound really negative. I like being negative sometimes, but this has disappointed me, because even though it was only a couple of quid, I was hoping it was going to be good. And it's like, the worst thing about it is, I mean, the plot is awful. The whole thing of like information retention and surveillance and stuff, this can be a really interesting topic, especially all the crazy nonsense with Theresa May and all that kind of thing that's been recently. But then making the whole thing just a straight up revenge thing just feels so lazy. Yeah, they could have done something. I think with this kind of topic, they could have done something really interesting with it. But it's pretty clear that they didn't trust the player, trust us enough to understand to make like an interesting and complex story that they could have done with something like this. It's just like, instead, it's like, it's revenge.
There's also that sort of the irony of the game as well, being the fact that you're being watched all the time by the police, and they will, it's surveillance everywhere. But despite the fact that you've just mowed down 4 people in a car and shot up a whole warehouse, and literally no one comes after you, you just flick your coat up and no one sees you. It's just, the world didn't feel solid enough, and I thought the closest they came to it is when you can look at everyone's information as you're walking past them. But after a while, you kind of think, actually, this is just a line of text. Assigned to a random
and also you
character.
Just think, I don't care. It's like, I don't really care about these other people that much. And it's like, I mean, also do you remember? I mean, the cars feel horrible to drive as well.
Yeah, wasn't it? Didn't they have like really weird sound effects as well? Like where it just sounds like it doesn't sound like a car at all. It sounds like a child making noises of a car.
I don't know. It was they did, the way they handled was horrible. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Forza Horizon 2 recently, which is probably a bad thing to play and then play this, because the handling in the cars is appalling. And I don't know, it feels like a cardboard cutout world. Like it really doesn't feel like a living world.
Maybe that's the point they were making, James.
Yeah, maybe.
We're all just shells.
Maybe with a crappy revenge story like chucked in. But I don't know. I'm going to keep playing because I want to see. see if anything happens, but it is disappointing. It's not what I hoped.
Yeah, I mean,
hopefully it will be fixed in Watch Dogs 2 coming this autumn.
It's coming out, isn't it? Watch Dogs 2?
Yeah.
Fucking madness.
Christ.
What are they doing? Right, anything else before we go to questions?
I was going to complain about Xbox Live, but I don't think anyone really wants to hear about that.
No, and we are running ridiculously over time here. So let's get to a few questions and then wrap this bad boy up. James, you've been allotted question asker.
Okay, so here's the first question. This is from Ms. Rangers 99. This is, with the disastrous launch of Xbox One and not listening to their loyal fans, do you feel sorry for MS in losing by such a margin?
Well, they did listen to their fans a bit, didn't they? They pulled out most of the awful shit that they were going to put into the Xbox One.
They made loads of changes.
They
it just wasn't enough,
better
unfortunately.
than Sony did for the complaints towards the PlayStation. Do I feel sorry for them? No, they kind of brought it on themselves, I guess. I don't know.
I actually feel sorry for us.
Feeling pity for multinational corporations pushing it.
That's
least.
That's Sean's university side still shining through there. No, I mean, I feel sorry for the fact that I genuinely think that they had a vision for the future, and I think it's an inevitable future that will happen, but we weren't quite ready for it yet, and I think the Gamers Backlash was a little bit too silly. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, fuck, man,
I still think if they just come out of the gate with, it's digital only, because let's fucking face it, that's how things are going.
Yeah.
And then, the ramifications of that would have sort of come out later, but it would have been like, well, it's digital only, so of course you can't swap games. Of course, once you own them, that's it. And of course, like that's how Steam works.
Yeah.
That's how Steam's always worked. And no one cares because you just accept that as a necessity. Whereas because the Xbox One still had a disc tray, and I don't blame them for not going all in on digital because it's still a weird time to make that transition. But yeah, I think if they'd just gone, look, this is the reality of what it is, and then later people go, well, how do you swap games? And well, you can't. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
We did just accept it. I think you're right. I think that's where they went wrong. Do I feel sorry for them? I don't know. It's like I've got a lot of love for that. Not so much the company, but the brand. Obviously, I grew up with it, and the Xbox 360 and the original Xbox were big things in my life. But it's hard to feel sorry for someone that's essentially fucked themselves. They approached the whole thing in the wrong way. I remember the initial announcement, which was fine enough, but then the 2 days afterwards, all this shit that they just sort of come out with, and everyone was like, "Whoa, what?" So
it's so weird how
it was Don Matrick, wasn't it?
That's right.
Yeah. It's just really funny how, like, the previous generation, the PS3 was the underdog for most of it.
Yeah.
And it was always like, whenever a PS3 exclusive came out, even if it was not that great, it was like every fucking PS3 owner made sure they went out and bought it. Like games that shouldn't have done that well did okay just through being PS3 exclusives, just because people wanted to support the exclusives. Whereas this gen feels like being an Xbox One exclusive is just a fucking death sentence.
It does a bit. I mean, Rise of the Tomb Raider sold fuck all.
Exactly.
Halo's forgotten about already. Yeah, it's pretty mad. I mean, there are some really good ones as well. As James mentioned earlier, Forza Horizon 2 was insanely good. But, the buzz for that died out pretty quickly. Is it the same for PS4? Because the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection bombed completely, didn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I say, those same exclusives on the PlayStation side, no one's really as fussed because no one feels the need to support the PS4 in the way they did the PS3, I think, because like I say, it's not the underdog. But it's just weird that same passion doesn't seem to be there for the Xbox One.
Yeah, you're right. It's weird.
It's true. I mean, even stuff like Titanfall, it's not, that kind of dropped off a bit, didn't it?
Games are fucking classic, and yet, it's weird.
Fucking
really weird
game. Next question.
And these, even games that even games that are on the PC as well don't seem to do as well as they should.
Yeah. Well,
really,
what
really
the old Quantum Break? I'd like to see where that is in the charts this week.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting one. Yeah. Next question.
Okay, this is from DeGoose. This is just like saying computer games rather than video games. Do you prefer saying controller or joypad? I'd have to go with controller personally, but
see, I sometimes still say joypad, and then people laugh at me, and then I remember.
Good.
I think I'll say pad. I'll say pad over controller.
I will say pad, but I do say controller. That's my go-to word. You say joypad, I say Vive. Right, next question.
Okay, this is Rash's 10. This is simple one. What game are you most looking forward to?
That's such an interesting question because usually I'd have one. I'll have a fair few to list up, but right now I don't know. I don't know what the roadmap looks like. I guess that's why I'm excited for E3, but I don't. There isn't a game for me I'm looking forward to. It's more I'm looking forward to the VR and PSVR and the stuff that brings. But other than saying the next GTA or Red Dead 2 or I don't know, there's nothing right now, and I'm not looking forward to in a few months' time.
Well, I mean,
I'm looking forward to playing about 10 minutes of Dark Souls 3 as soon as this is over, and then going to bed.
You'll have to tell me what you think of those 10 minutes, though, because we're going to have to talk about that game at length via the WhatsApp chat system. No, Uncharted 4, really looking forward to that. That looks fantastic.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
But the game that was announced kind of officially today...
Oh, yeah.
Tights 2. Tickety boo.
Fucking swords,
Tights. Mate. Cannot wait for that. Cannot wait for that.
Fucking swords.
Yeah, but whatever. I mean, those guys, what they did with Titanfall 1, I'm fully confident that they can...
no, that's what I'm saying. I'm well happy that it's
bang
got
on with the
swords.
swords.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see.
Anything for you, James?
Well, you see, the thing is, I mean, you're all just going to laugh, but I genuinely am looking forward to the new Zelda. I really am. It's
fair dues. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Why can't I look forward to that? It looks great.
Of course
you can. You can look forward to it.
Of course you can. Next question.
Okay. This is Dan Price. This is Star Fox Zero. Any thoughts? Anything at all? Well,
I can't believe how
can I say something about this?
I want to say I can't believe how well they've brought this round, because the first time they showed it looked dog shit. And I watched the trailer. I haven't been following it, but I watched the trailer, the latest trailer they put out a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, or whenever. And instantly I thought, I'm going to have to buy this now. This looks incredible.
So I'm really looking forward to it, because I've been trying to get it for review, because I really, really want to play it.
So I call out to Nintendo.
But no dice yet. But yeah, I really want to play it. It looks great.
Sean?
Yeah, same basically. You know what I'm like with Nintendo stuff. Even I was worried when I first saw it. But yeah, no, it looks really good. I'm even excited about Star Fox Guard.
What's that?
Like, oh, you've not seen? So this is the game, like the sort of mini game that comes with it. And it's basically, I can't believe I'm going to say this. It's a tower defense game, but with a twist. The twist being basically the start of each level, you place your turrets, but they're like security cameras. So you place all those, and then basically you switch between them, and then you sort of view this, like look through the security cameras with the Wii U controller, and have to like turn and look around, and that's how you shoot the enemies, by switching between the cameras and aiming and shooting and stuff. And it just seems like quite good fun. I think you can buy it on its own. I can't see anyone doing that, but as a nice little addition. It was just this prototype they're messing around with, and I think they figured out the way to actually get people to buy it is to badge it with Star Fox.
Sounds terrible. But I'll I am genuinely looking forward to another Star Fox game, because those games are fucking good. Know what I mean? Right. Should we do one more?
Yeah, let's do one more. Okay, because this is quite good. This is Raw Call. This is if it's still a couple of months away, but what would you like to see at E3?
Wow.
Well, I mean, NX, obviously.
Yeah.
NX, PS4.5, new Xbox One.
Do you think we're going to see The Last Guardian? Because that's supposed to be coming out this year.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll see a trailer. Nothing more.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen all I need to with Last Guardian. It's just like, mate, just bring it out or don't. Like,
I'm just finished now.
Not asked with any teasers anymore. It's just get on with it.
Do you think we'll see anything from Shenmue 3?
Yeah, probably.
Do you reckon they're gonna? I reckon it'll be on the Sony stage. They'll give you a short update on how they're getting on,
and then ask for more money.
Yeah, another 10 mil.
Yeah.
See, I'm hoping we're going to see something. I know you see, I've been slagging it off earlier, but I'm hoping we're going to see something VR related from Microsoft, like with the Xbox One. I think
it feels like they need to do something.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're doing AR stuff, aren't they? HoloLens.
No, that's never happening.
That's so far away. That's like 5 years away from a consumer version.
Because they cost like $3,000. Like there's no way that's going to happen. So I'm just wondering whether they're going to like partner with Oculus or something like that. You know, they'll do something. Because they've got nothing.
Oculus to Xbox One would be a huge get, wouldn't it?
I mean, they basically announced exactly that last year with the partnership whereby you can view Xbox games on the Oculus, connect to your PC, whatever it was. I don't know.
Yeah, but it was essentially playing an Xbox game in a pretend theatre, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit shit.
Yeah,
I mean, they need to do something. I mean, not only like Sony smashing them on like PS4 sales numbers, but they've also got this second wind potentially in the form of PSVR that's gonna do more, and they're gonna be part of the VR conversation. Whereas Xbox One, it's dragging behind in terms of tech and general sort of customer goodwill. Obviously PS4s are flying off the shelves, and Xboxes aren't selling as much. And then you've got the lack of VR option on Xbox. It's they need to do something.
You know what they'll probably do, don't you? It's probably going to be they'll come on, they'll announce Connect 2 or Connect 3 by now.
Yeah.
It'd be like it's like we've really nailed it this time, guys. Get ready to
James
rearrange
just
that
bursts
sofa.
into flames.
Yeah.
It's just in anger.
Get ready to move that coffee table. It's going to be, that'll be the thing.
I mean, I'd like to see maybe the new Left 4 Dead, but I've said that for the past 4 or 5 years.
I would love that. That'd be great.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a really interesting one because whereas last year there was a lot of sort of predictable announcements, there was a lot of surprises as well, but that weren't expected until this year. I kind of don't know what the holiday season is going to look like this year. Not quite yet. You're going to get your Call of Duty and stuff like that. But what else is going to be rammed into those few weeks before Christmas? I don't think we've seen everything yet.
Yeah, Nintendo have confirmed the NX isn't this year, right?
No, they've said nothing.
Oh, right, okay. Sure.
It's likely to be next year, but it's still possible to be this year. We just don't know yet.
Yeah.
I think they all do it this year. I can't believe they're going to just let the 3DS and Wii U limp on for like another entire year.
It's getting a bit embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why isn't there no new Mario Kart 8 tracks? What I don't... How's that?
They did loads.
They did do a lot, yeah.
They did loads, but I'm just surprised they haven't... I don't know.
Could have kept doing it. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I
think obviously the short answer is because all the people who are working on them are working on NX games.
Yeah, that's fair. What you're hearing now, Sean, is someone that's had to play that game for hours on end on the same tracks, because if I turn it off, he screams. He screams, Sean. He screams. He let me pick Luigi the other day, and that gave me a second wind with that game for a bit before I had to go back to Mario.
I thought he was into Yoshi.
He was. That changed pretty quickly. Okay. Although it is pretty sweet now when I play I play New Super Mario Bros. I've completed that now. I played New Super Mario Bros. And every level now, as soon as it launches up, he starts going, Yoshi, because he wants to see Yoshi. And if Yoshi gets hit and he runs off screen, and I manage to grab him just before he falls off the ledge, Harry goes, phew, and wipes like his forehead. That shit makes it worthwhile. But amazing. I am sick of Mario Kart now, even though I love it. I just want something new. Come on, Nintendo, sort it out.
Fair enough.
Right, I think that's it, isn't it? We done?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're done. Matt, the outro's your chance to shine, I think.
This is my piece. This is where you're, all the work's going into this last section.
Go for it.
So we're on iTunes because, I mean, you might have seen we were number one, so we're definitely on iTunes. Please subscribe and leave a review. just search for the Computer Game Show and you'll find us. A new episodes go up every week on YouTube and SoundCloud. Just search us on those and you'll find us. You can send in your questions and feedback to the show at thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. We're on Twitter, of course. We are at ComputerGamePod. Search for the Computer Game Show on Facebook and Twitch. We're both there. And we're also on Overcast, Pocket Casts, TuneIn Radio and Stitcher.
Matt,
and I think that's it.
Is insane, man. He's just spent some. I mean, you've set up the Computer Game Show community on PlayStation.
Oh yeah, done that as well. Yeah. We've also got a PS4 community. I don't know what that even does, but we've got one. So search for
if it's anything like the Midnight Resistance one, you just get lads going on asking, like doing like Destiny, LFG, 4 Raid.
Awesome.
And
I haven't aligned us with a certain game, so God knows what's going to be on there. But if you can search for a community, then search for the Computer Game Show and join up, I guess.
Should align it with Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
Absolutely, I think I'm going to do that straight after
winning.
Yeah.
Right. I promise you that not every episode will be this long. I can't believe how long we've gone for this week. But hopefully we'll be back next week with a shorter show. Thanks for listening, everyone, and keep those reviews coming in, and thanks for all the support. Tell all your friends, because it's the best way to spread the word of the podcast. And we love you all, don't we, chaps?
We do. Just before we go, so I'm going to start this Twitch challenge.
Has a new social media just been launched and you've already signed us up to it?
Just signed us up, yeah. I was going to say, so I'm going to start this Uncharted challenge in the next few days, so keep an eye out on the Twitter feed for news about when that's going to properly kick off.
Are you, Matt, just one last question, are you going to be playing all the Vita games as well?
Absolutely not. That would have been incredible, but absolutely no way. That's a struggle as it is. Yeah, Uncharted 1's getting started this week, so I'm going to need your support, I've got a feeling. So please come and follow us on Twitch.
Right then, goodbye everybody.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. Bye.